I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins. Welcome to a new segment, new video. Guys, I want to throw this one out there because it's kind of important. And I've been talking about it on the channel for a long time. Guys, stop following post-dicting channels and look at predicting channels. I've been predicting a lot of things that have been gonna happen from years ago, and they're happening. A lot of channels go out and say, look, oil crashed, I told you so. How many people actually put up a video before it actually crashed and said oil down 15.50% in the Australian markets a day before, and oil will go negative come Monday? And this was on the Sunday I posted this, and I knew that oil was going to go into negative territory, and I positioned my money where my mouth was. So stop looking at post-diction channels, look at predictions before things even happen. So here it is, guys. So today we're going to talk about the war on the middle class that's happening and that's attacking the working poor. And here it is, guys. Let's go back to the channel again and go to videos a year, 8 months, 2 years old. Banks are now referring people to food banks. So people, for them not to default on their mortgage payments because the bank needs their money, they are sending homeowners to food banks. And this is 8 months ago here. Food bank notice increase of working poor. I call it working poor. They call it middle class. I call it working poor because you're just working for the sake of paying for rent to keep the landlord's mortgages paid so the banks don't default. Food bank usage in Scotland record high. That was from 6 months ago. Alberta, Sydney, Auckland, London, and Los Angeles. From binge to bust, Commonwealth cities line up for food banks. So there it is. 2,000 people come, about 2,000 new people come every month. This is 6 months ago. So here it is. Oil drop, food price hikes. It's kind of strange. This is 2 weeks ago. This is before the crash. It's kind of strange how things you always find work against you. How the price of oil goes down, but the price of food goes up. But for the longest time, the price of oil kept going up. Do you know why, guys? The price of oil kept going up, and then the price of food kept going up, but they kept blaming logistics. They kept saying the cost to export food is up, the cost to produce food is up, the cost of transporting food is up, the cost of everything is up, so food must go up. We believed that for years, until we realized that we're not going to run out of oil in the next 10 years. We'll have oil for the next 1,000 years. And I feel sorry for the scientists that dismissed the status quo, saying we're not going to run out of oil in 10 years. It's a natural phenomenon the earth produces. But hey, guess what? We had it here on the channel. Countries are starting to hoard food, threatening global trade 4 weeks ago. So here it is, guys. Subscribe, be part of the channel. Look, Mike in the Night, 9 months ago, a live show I did with Collins. Mike in the Night, middle class can't afford food. And there it is. I get people calling in. Another magnitude 6 earthquake. So let's see who we get calling to this show. Oh, we got people calling in. For the best waves, you're hanging out on your board, waiting, passing on.
Sooner or later, you've got to pull the cord and say, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere else, and I'm going to try something different.
Yeah. So check it out, guys. Mike in the Night. Don't forget to subscribe. Look at this. Food bank. There's more here. New Zealand poverty crisis. Toronto wins. Poverty capital of Canada 6 months ago. Trends in the housing market. More poverty. California housing out of reach for most. That's 2 years ago, and it doesn't even have 8 views on it. So there's a lot of videos I'm doing. There's the Raven there with his hairpiece. Can the middle class be wiped out in 2018? This is from 2017. I posted this. So I was predicting way too far behind. I'm behind. I thought the middle class would be wiped out by 2018. I was wrong. It's 2020 right now with COVID. So this is what's happening. Look, New Zealand housing severe. Guys, share the channel, subscribe. I do a lot. Canadian insolvencies up. I do a lot of work, so get this out there, guys. And right now we're going to discuss the stark photos showing miles long row of cars outside a Florida food bank as demand surges for 600% and more than 500,000 residents file for unemployment. So this is it, guys. We're seeing the war on the middle class, aka working poor, is being taken out at the seams. And let's take a look here. Let me maybe zoom this out a bit. So go to article cam here so you can see it better. Yeah, it's a little bit better there. Let me stretch it out here for you guys. There you go. Let me bring it back here. Let me just bring it back here real quick. There you go. There it is, guys. Feeding South Florida, a nonprofit distributed food to needy Floridian motorists on Monday. A long line of vehicles was seen waiting at distribution center in Sunrise, just outside of Fort Lauderdale. I know where that is. That's west off 95. No, east off 95. Yeah, I-95. Food banks have reported a 600% spike in demand for produce amid COVID pandemic. Recent figures showed that more than 500,000 Floridians filed for unemployment benefits. So this is getting out of hand. And take a gander at that, would you? That's all people waiting. And look at that. A Camaro, a Honda, Mini Cooper, Mercedes. Wow, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. An aerial view from the drone shows the vehicle lineup to receive food provided by the food bank Feeding South Florida in Sunrise, Florida. Wow. Look at the mile. It goes on for miles. Feeding South Florida has seen a 600% increase in those asking for food aid as possible, some of whom who have lost jobs need to make ends meet during the COVID pandemic. Groceries being given away, including milk, chicken, apples, tomatoes, and cantaloupe, as well as Easter eggs. Floridians lined up to receive produce ranging from milk, chicken, apples, tomatoes, cantaloupes, and eggs. That's because COVID. Now they're blaming COVID. Now let's go back here. Okay, I'm not COVID real or fake. I'm not on here for that. I'm not on here for this show for that. I'm actually wanting to talk about the war against the middle class, right? So what happened? Well, it's very simple. We go back here. They create fake natural gas shortages in the winter so they could keep our prices up. Middle class can't afford food. So this has been happening for a long time now. Unfreaking believable apartment rental crisis. Half of Greater Vancouver cannot afford a one-bedroom rental. And rent prices in BC are expected to reach $2,600 in 2020, and that's where they're at right now. And TOP, Canadian provinces with insolvencies. So it's happening all over. Gold and silver breaking away. And when was that? That was 4 months ago. U.S. online sales spike. Holiday boost. Casino whistleblower in Australia sheds light about money laundering. So on foreign investing, foreign money coming in and laundering through casinos. So it is a war against the middle class. The middle class, average wage earners are completely bought out of their own markets. Average wage earners have a really tough time making ends meet. Their total debt service ratio does not add up. So you're getting this. You're getting banks refer people to food banks so they don't mess up on their mortgage payment, right? So that means farmers who rely on their business to buy their crops have an excess of perishable food and nothing to do with it. So Jose Martinez waits in line next to his car to receive groceries provided by the food bank Feeding South Florida. So there's Angelica Pichardo, an official with the city Sunrise, gives vouchers for groceries to the local motorists on Monday. Wow. A city employee wearing a mask and gloves places groceries provided by the food bank into vehicles to needy Floridians on Monday. Oh, man. Food that isn't donated to food banks is simply thrown away and turned into mulch, as there is no set mechanism to efficiently redistribute the excess produce of those in need. So that's a huge issue that they have here, because they're having a really tough time making ends meet, and it's been happening for a while. You see how fast it happened in Florida? The average house is anywhere from $180 to $265 for the benchmark price for a home in Florida, and they're bought out. But you're looking at cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, Seattle, Oregon, Vancouver, Toronto, London, Sydney, Auckland, Melbourne, where people have been severely overpriced and bought out of their markets for so long that when it hits those areas, it's going to get a lot worse than Florida, because the debt load or the debt distribution in Florida isn't as grand and as big as someone, for example, living in Toronto that's a homeowner, where they're $1 million in debt, where in Florida they're $300,000 in debt. So look at the default quantities in gross numbers that's going to happen, and it's going to hit. So right now, the middle class, the working poor, has been under attack forever. First, foreign investors come in with big money, buy up all our infrastructure, all our housing. Then the middle class workers that can't afford to reach those black swan prices move out to other cities. Then from those cities, people move and then start to raise the prices on other cities and inflate the prices of housing in other places. So, Farm Share distributes food every day through partnership with food pantries, churches, school, and other nonprofits. The organization has dozens of drop sites throughout Florida. It is running at maximum capacity, using every one of its 25 refrigerated trucks and six warehouses to get food out to those who need it. Feeding South Florida said it welcomes the excess donations. It is operating at pace to deliver 2.5 million meals a week to hungry Floridians. We absolutely can handle it, said Sari Vetsky, Executive Vice President of Feeding South Florida. We can't get it in and out fast enough. Vasky said that while the number of people asking for food increased sixfold, the number of staff has been cut by 3/4 as people are adhering to stay-home orders. Damn. So people are adhering to stay-home orders, and when they do that, guess what happens? They don't go out, and they don't go participate and help the food banks and stuff. I wish I lived close to this. I'd go here and help out. Honestly, I would. I wish. So there it is there, guys. With the hospitality industry shut down, farmers have a glut of unused food, some of which has been collected by food banks across the country. So here's the deal. You got hotels, with restaurants, hotels, fancy hotels that order in food every day to their restaurants, and they prepare food and stuff for their guests and stuff. They're not ordering. So think of that. Think of it from the small level like that all the way to the top, where people don't have the money to go buy in grocery stores. Then that's another problem. City employees load groceries into the trunk of motorist cars in Sunrise, Florida. One city employee loads several packages of what appears to be orange juice in Sunrise, Florida. City employee places some green vegetables in bag of... These beans, you could salt them and eat them as is, eh? And Floridians who have been laid off from work are turning to food banks to provide meals, as COVID has effectively shut down much of the economy. So why don't they just start reopening this economy in a safe way? I don't know what they're doing. The image above shows vegetables provided by Feeding South Florida Food Bank in Sunrise. There it is right there. All these people, man. It's horrendous. So it's a war against the middle. So let's go back to videos I made. There was one I made about how, this is a really good one, how, underwater mortgages, top 6 countries that's in the Commonwealth that speak English, top 6 countries that have underwater mortgages, Portland housing severely unaffordable, Australia's mortgage prison in danger, that's from like 3 years ago, housing crisis equals banking crisis equals humanity crisis equals starvation, Vancouver homes, empty, quiet streets. So what else is there here, guys, that I could show you guys? So there was an article that I did on my channel that was that I read that there's more food banks now in the city of London than there is McDonald's and Subway restaurants, I think, put together. The article's in my channel somewhere. And guys, this has been a war against the middle class forever. And I've been noticing it since 2010, after the Vancouver Olympics in downtown Vancouver, where I used to live. I used to see things get so out of control there, guys, you have no idea. And the price of housing went from $400 to 600 to 800. The same home, I'm saying, to 1.2 to 1.8 to 2.5 to like literally $3 million for the same house. Now, how is this happening? Well, here's the deal. See, this is the deal, and all English-speaking countries are guilty of this. Parts of the U.S. are, but all the rest of the Commonwealth is. And here it is. Document cam, please. There you go. Canada would be in a recession without money laundering. I brought this up in the last video because this is dangerous information. Because if people knew that $200 billion was laundered in their country from 2011 to 2015 via real estate coming from China, from profits made from gangs, from fentanyl and opioids and all kinds of dangerous drugs that flood the streets of Western United States, all of Canada, UK, Australia, and New Zealand, they'd be pretty upset. So there it is right there, guys. It is really bad. Now, with every country competing for wealthy investors from China, it's been really hard for the locals to compete. Now, this is the war on the middle class, where people can need government loans, first-time home buyer loans. Let's get to that real quick here, guys. This is kind of important. You pay attention to this. First-time home buyer loans, very dangerous. Why? Because the middle class can get into any market. Liar loans explained in Australia, payday loans debt trap, serious delinquencies in subprime auto loans, the dangers of B lenders. That one was just put up 2 hours ago. Zero down home loans, interest only mortgages. I addressed this many years ago. Look, 40-year loans down under. Consumer debt crisis in Saskatchewan. Student loan fiasco. Housing crisis plus debt load equals student loans equals hate. Equity is not a lottery. Everyone thinks the equity in their homes were lotteries, and they were using it to pay. They weren't. You know what I'm saying? Canadians taking out fewer mortgages. Canadians, not foreign investors, right? So there's a lot. Look, 1.34 million empty homes across Canada. And do you know that I think it's 18% of foreign investors from China that invested in own homes in Canada? Almost 20%, it's like 18, almost 20% have never visited Canada once. Go see what the number is in Australia. Big trouble in Little Aussie. A third of Canadians have no retirement. Don't pay until you die reverse mortgages. They've been trying to do everything to us. Watch all these videos. Let's get into more debt. Keep getting more debt and explaining why all these people are getting into debt. The great American household debt soars most since the crisis. And that's it. Cheap money, but it's different. Now, foreign money, Seattle is a good experience. A good explanation for all this is Seattle. Vancouver, BC, put in a foreign buyer's tax for foreign buyers. Like, you got to pay 12 or whatever percent for a foreign investor. Those people stopped buying in Vancouver. They went down to Seattle and destroyed their housing market and quadrupled the price of everything. Now, most of the condos, luxury condos, apartments, and everything in Seattle has a what do you call it? Like a corporate number. It's a corporation that owns all these properties. Several corporate numbers. And then Toronto got hit with the tsunami because everyone went east to Toronto. Right? So let's look that up too. So you guys understand the channel. I've been doing a lot here. What's it called here? Chinese investors buying up Athens, Greece. Let's see if we could find it. Canadian investors investing in U.S. real estate. Chinese investors want a bad refund on bad investment. Let's see if I could find it here. Foreign investors must watch Vancouver housing crisis. I've been talking about this for so many, here it is, guys, many years. There it is. Let's go back here. Chinese investors buying up Athens. Chinese investors looking at Calgary. So this is a big deal because when we get bought out, housing crisis. Australia's politicians are the best investors. Australian politicians own they own a lot of housing, and so I'm trying to see if I could find. Look, foreign investors going to Ireland. And that was a year ago. And foreign investing never happened there before. They never seen that happening before in Dublin. And a year now from this day, when that video was made, the homelessness has skyrocketed. The children in homelessness have skyrocketed. And now with COVID, it's made it even worse with people all over the streets. So there it is, guys. I wanted to throw this out there because housing, look at this, 3 years ago. Housing crisis, Sydney investors in trouble. Let's see what this says. This is from 3 years ago. YouTubers, income shortfall. Oh no, could this be the nail in the coffin that's going to spring up? Is this the Jack in the Box that's going to blow up? Is this analytics DEF? Consolidate put the number of property portfolios that may be affected to 36,000, 36 large. So there's so many. It just keeps going and going. New Zealand housing, don't buy anything. People that watched my don't buy anything videos from a year ago, New Zealand housing, do not buy nothing. Those people are emailing me pretty much every day and telling me, hey, Mike, I'm in New Zealand. I watched this don't buy anything. I made one for Australia. I made one for Canada. I made one for everywhere. Because if people bought a year ago when I told them not to, and they went ahead and bought when I told them not to, they're in a lot of trouble today. So there it is, guys. There's just so much happening, guys. I kind of wanted to throw this out there. Look at this. Trends in the housing market, October 2016. Wow. Yeah, you guys have been with me for so long. Thank you so much, guys. Go in there, share one of my videos. Oh, Montreal, Quebec, foreign buyers, housing disaster ahead. And that I predicted that because once they said there's foreign investors in there, I already knew what was going to happen. Same thing that happened in Toronto. So now you got the attack on the middle class, and look what's happening. And you're looking at Florida, where the average house is still under, you could get a decent house for under $200,000. What's going to happen to the working poor that own multi-million-dollar homes, multi-million-dollar teardowns, multi-million, what's going to happen for the people that own multi-million-dollar teardowns that are realistically worth $100,000, 200 maybe tops? What's going to happen to those people in those cities? Are they going to start bailing out the homeowners? They're not going to bail out the renters, God forbid. Attack on the middle class. Here it is, guys. You see it. There it is. Look at all the people in Florida. Look at this. It's scary. And I know where this is. I know exactly where this place is. Right? This is off of I-95. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I would like to know what you guys are feeling about this attack on the middle class, working poor. What do we do? We're bought out of our own markets, and now they're getting us, hitting our pockets to buy basic food, basic necessities. All right, guys, I took too much of your time. Don't forget to subscribe, be part of the channel, set your reminders here. Look at this. Oil is going to crash. Look at that. Oil down 15.5%. That was a day before the Monday crash. I posted this on the Sunday. And I put my money where my mouth is, and it said oil will go negative come Monday. Because I've been watching the markets in Australia, and I knew something wasn't right. And I went and made a video about it before it happened. No post-dicting here. I try my best to predict and take your guys' advice. And don't forget to call into the shows, Trends in the Housing Market, and Mike in the Night. Thanks for watching, guys. God bless. And we'll hope to see you guys very soon.